So we'll be looking into JavaScript syntax. JavaScript has so many syntax and they are so easy to understand. Let me try and say this. I just want you to know that code are not meant to be memorized. You just need to understand them and know the way it works, know exactly what they do. So that sometimes, even when you can't remember the syntax, you can just use your best friend, which is Google, to get, okay, what exactly does this do, and you'll be able to like get the answer. You're not meant to cram them, you're not meant to memorize them, but you keep repeating them. So, a repetitive task becomes something that you do, so it becomes something that you know. Like when you do something every day, over time it becomes part of you, and you write codes without having to like Google or do any kind of search anywhere. So, like I'll say, and I'll always like to tell my students, codes are not meant to be crammed, are not meant to be memorized. You just keep working, repeat it on daily basis, try more. The more you try, the better you become. So let's learn some JavaScript syntax. And I believe for someone that is learning JavaScript, you must have at least at one time or the other written HTML or CSS or something, or a programming language or something else somewhere, and you should know what we call code editors. So we'll be using a code editor, and our code editor for this class is going to be Visual Studio Code. But I like organizing my works, so what I'll be doing now is I'm going to open a new file explorer, my system, then I'll go to my documents. Okay, let me delete this folder. So I'll create a folder. I'll call the folder JavaScript. So I will open my code editor. The right here, I'll open the folder, document, JavaScript. So here's a folder I'll be working with. So what I'll be doing here is I'll be creating an HTML file, so that I'll be able to like I'll create an HTML file. So we'll be working with HTML file. We'll be using putting our JavaScript right there in that HTML file. And when it gets to a place where I need to create a JavaScript file in zone, that will go on and do that. But for now, let's just work with let's just put our JavaScript in an HTML file. So let's come here, let's put a new file here. Let's just say index.html. So here we could just put the regular HTML. I believe for you to be taking this course, you should have at least understanding of HTML. So JavaScript, and let's come here. We have our body. Just put an H1 and say hello. This is JavaScript. So if I go into my JavaScript folder and I right click on this and I open with my browser, then you can see, okay, now we have this. So now let's learn some syntax. One of the first syntax we'll be learning is a statement. What is statement in JavaScript? I almost say statement will mean a code that declares a variable or instruct the JavaScript engine to do a task. Okay, that is, it's telling the system, do this, do that. For example, this is a statement. Let's say we'll come in here. For you to write a JavaScript code in an HTML code, you need to put the tag script. So I'll say script. So with this, it recognizes anything that comes within the script, they are all JavaScript. But for browser compatibility's sake, and probably you're using the whole type of JavaScript, you can just put type and say I think that should be text / JavaScript. Okay, good. So if I come here and say hello, now this, if I refresh this is a statement. That was why you're able to get It's telling the system to send an alert that with the content hello. So this is a JavaScript statement, and every JavaScript statement hence the semicolon. But note, semicolon is not compulsory, but we can at least add semicolon. But I always advise, if you are putting JavaScript, especially when you're writing in between HTML, try and put semicolon, because this will really help your script to be way better. Okay, so I think to make this a bit better, okay, not now, later, probably I'm going to use an external JavaScript so that we're able to write more of JavaScript, pure JavaScript. Okay, so let me write another statement. Let's say, let's message equals to I am learning JavaScript. Then we'll come in here, we'll say alert message. You don't have to bother yourself about what the meaning of let, what does let mean, why I'm putting message. We're going to get there. This is just trying to show you statements in JavaScript. Now, if I refresh this, you can see I'm learning JavaScript. That's the message. But if you check this code, no semicolon was added. That's why I say either with or without semicolon, your JavaScript will still work. But sometimes I advise you to put your semicolon, because you might get to a place where semicolons becomes important, and because you are used to not having semicolon, then you forget to have that, then you start having some bugs, you start having like sleepless nights with your JavaScript, not knowing that you just missed a semicolon. Okay, so that's that. Like another one we have, we call the another syntax is identifier. Now, what I mean by identifier, it's a name you choose for a variable, parameters, function, classes, and so on. You know, a lot of you have a name. For instance, for you to be sure someone knows you, probably the person calls your name and you answer. That's a sign that, okay, this person knows me because he knows my name. That name is your identifier. So everybody has a way of being identified, and that is our own identifier. So same thing applies to JavaScript. All the names you give to your classes, your variables, your functions, and so on and so forth, we refer to them as identifiers. For instance, now the identifier here is message, because I say let message equals to I am learning JavaScript. So if I want to make reference to I am learning JavaScript, I'll just reference the word message. And we could say, okay, for instance, let's name equals to this, equals to KBC. So name is the identifier for KBC. Okay, I believe you're getting that. Now, another one we're going to talk about is comment. Comment. What is comment? Comment is a very important part of your program, of your code, of your programming language. I'll say this. If you want to become a better software developer, learn to write comments. It's difficult. Let me agree to that. For you to comment every code, for you to make sure every code has a description, it's kind of, some people find it kind of weird, but I'll tell you the truth. It's one of the best things to do. Imagine you just finished writing your code, you just finished building a world-class application bigger than Google, bigger than Amazon, bigger than Apple, and so on. Okay, now you just finished building a very big app, and unfortunately, you became sick, and you have to stay on the sick bed for let's say a month or so, and you couldn't write, you couldn't do anything. Somebody else will need to take over the code and probably make some adjustment. You're going to make life difficult for that person, because it's not going to be, you might not understand everything. So that takes us to comment. Comment allows you to tell another user what this particular block of statement is doing. For instance, I could come in here and say, okay, sorry, let me make my screen a bit bigger. Okay, I believe with this, I could come here and say, okay, this is message holding a value. Now with this, anybody that comes in here could just be like, okay, this is a message, it's holding a value. Okay, probably the value it's holding is I am JavaScript. Of course, I expect the person to understand because he's a professional. But let's just look at it from aspect that the code, we're having like 50,000 lines of code here. What happens? Comments will really help you. And also let me this is how we comment in JavaScript. We use // to do a single line comment. Probably you want to write more than one line, you could as well do the same. You could slash, okay, the first line, then slash the second line, which I feel it doesn't look good. You could just come in, put a slash and an asterisk, then keep writing, just keep on writing till when you are done, then close it with an asterisk and another slash. Then this serves as comment. Note, your comment doesn't show on your page. If I save this now and I go back to my web page and I refresh, the comment doesn't show. Comments are actually meant for the developers, for someone that is viewing the code. And that also takes me back to our identifiers. I forgot to mention something on identifiers. When you are naming in JavaScript, we have naming conventions. We have ways that we can name. Your name can start with A, from A to Z. That means it could be small letter, it could be capital letter. You're good. It could start with underscore. For instance, I could say, let's underscore first name equals to hello my people. So let me just bring this down. I don't want us to have too many alerts, so we're using just one. So I'll just say underscore first name. If I save this and I refresh this, so you can start with underscore and followed by any other character, also on. And one thing that I want you to know is starting with numbers is not allowed. Let's try that. Let's say 3, 4. Okay, can you see? It's already telling me identifier or keyword cannot immediately follow a numeric literal. That is, you cannot name your classes, your variables, your parameter, your function starting with numbers. But you could as well add numbers. I can say, okay, add a 4. This is accepted, but you can come in and say this no. And there are some special characters that are not allowed. I can use plus this for naming. I can use dot and the likes of that. So the most acceptable one is the underscore. Okay, so that's that about your identifier. And like I said, your comment is very, very, very important. And we've talked about how we could use a single line comment, and multiple line comment. Now let's look at what we call expressions. What are expressions? Expressions are just a piece of code that evaluates to a value. For instance, if I said 2 plus 1, I know we're going to get a single value. That's an expression. This could also be an expression. I could add this to this and I will get I am learning JavaScript, hello my people. So that's the way expression works. So, and also we have some things we call keywords. These are things you cannot use as naming. You can just write them anyhow. They are meant to do some particular things in JavaScript. So I'll just mention but a few, then you could just go online and check out more. We have the likes of break. Now immediately typing, then you could see they have a different color from the regular color there. That shows the keywords. We have case. You can use case, and you can use likes of catch. They are all keywords. We have continue. They are keywords. We have exports. They are keywords, and so on and so forth. You could just go online, just search for JavaScript keywords. So guys, that's all about learning JavaScript syntax. So we'll stop here. Then in our next class, then we'll pick up the next topic. So guys, see you. Bye.